Habareko, 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 Welcome. If you are hearing this message, this is an activation. This is an Akashic source code. We are re-imprinting our patterns. We are reconditioning our experience on the planet. And we are learning to transcend our traumas using our triggers. For those of you who are experiencing mental, physical health, and exhaustion, I want to share something with you. Once we were in alignment with time and space and nature as one. The frequency in which the indigenous of the planet existed was that of a natural frequency and not an artificial time-space matrix. That frequency is 1320, but it was changed to 1260 with the Gregorian calendar. This was the beginning of suffering in a very different way that was being engineered by those who seek to be superior.
So quantum, we 5D. Transmit my thoughts.
I want to say to you,
heart shocks feel so strong.
No matter what you are experiencing, no matter how it shows up, it is an initiation. You are diving deep into the darkness to bring forth the light. Only the most courageous souls break their allegiance with what is to seek what is to become and what used to be. We are each remnants of many different deities, Orishas, Loas, Naturus, ancient deities of ancient times. They now live within us, within our genetic coding. They live within the ability for our bodies to create hormones and different amino acids within the body, which impacts our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. We have been lied to. And for those of us who have delved deep into the darkness to find the truth, you know this, but there was a purpose. Our ancestors did not abandon us with colonization. This was a great cosmic plan at work. We no longer have initiations in alignment with nature on a mass scale, the way we once did in our tribes. So because of this division, we are experiencing individual initiations into higher consciousness. We are the vessels in which the greatest alchemical, transformational rhythm of transcendence is showing up. What we were told was dis-ease was actually an invitation into wholeness and well-being in the form of the polarity of the experience. Per the law of rhythm, the pendulum swings the opposite way. But the further that pendulum swings into the direction in which you do not desire, the more potential you have to create what your heart is desiring to experience. The harder the basketball hits the court, the higher the basketball can bounce. Physics have explained this. Spirituality has explained this. Science is now beginning to catch up with what spirit has always known. For those of you who feel as if who you are is diminished by anything that appears not to be in alignment with someone who resonates as a healer, just want to let you know, don't believe the hype. You are exactly where you're supposed to be for the outcome in which you are creating. When we are in the ashes, some call it the rock bottom, some say it's just a space that feels like nothing but a void. And I feel like I cannot do anything else. I can't take any more. I don't know what to do, where to go, who to call, what to believe. In that space is where you meet your I divine self. We have been told that the pharmaceutical company was created to replace the herbs and spices and minerals we once used to heal, to enslave humanity. And although an aspect of that is true, the truth that is rarely told, the secret that has been hidden, is that within pharmacology, there is also a symbiosis waiting to be accessed. The most powerful way to gain an outcome is to allow what is perceived to be the enemy to feel superior. It is in this space that many souls who were asleep have awakened. There is always a purpose in every perceived problem. And each problem is a portal to access higher dimensional consciousness. As I am channeling this information for you, for my divine self now, she says to me, Kamson, you are not defined by your illness, your mental health, your imbalances, or any substances that have been put in your body that may not be in alignment with nature. She reminds me that there is something so much greater and more powerful than anything oppressors can create to enslave. And only in the space of experiencing your own darkness without judgment will you access a power that you had no idea was inside of you the whole time. I am not suggesting to you to intake substances that may be dangerous and unnatural. But what I'm saying to you is that despite every attempt for them to sabotage the spiritual awakening happening on this planet, it has been rendered useless. Any weapon that has ever been formed to break us has only taught us to be more innovative. This is why most inventions come through people who have experienced the most amount of oppression, pain, and suffering. This is the gift of what we call curses. There is a gift hidden within everything. There is a superpower hidden within every perceived problem. We have been told that the way we exist is wrong, and that the threat of living below the standards of the gods of maybe people we love, people that raised us, and even our past selves, that not being able to rise to that so-called standard of God means that you are a failure and it will lead to eternal damnation. Wasn't true. As I sit here now, I am not living to prove this to you. I am proof of the power of spirit, the human spirit, the power of our innermost being, outside of the I, outside of the egoic aspect of ourselves that was created by the genius inside of each of us, that is the inner child. I just want to commend you for hearing the call of your heart, that your path will be like no one else's. But along the way, once you are taking the path that has been pre-lit for you to walk through the darkness, you shall encounter ancestors, spirit guides, spirit animals, star tribes, and other souls masquerading as humans, but we are really the ancient gods and goddesses anew. The heartache, the generational trauma, the suffering, the oppression, the justice system that seems to always fail us in some way. That is not a weapon that was created to break us. Our ancestors allowed these things to manifest so that we could get back in touch with our true selves, so that we would finally have the courage to walk the path that our heart has been calling us to walk. It would have happened no other way. The sleep, the mass spell casting, the sorcery, the pharmakia, it is so deep that before we could speak, many of us were fed foods, formulas, and things that change our brain's ability to connect with its empathic, intuitive characteristics. They have given it names like autism and high-functioning Asperger's and personality disorders and developmental disorders and the effect of lead in the water, which we are still experiencing. Some people may have specific experiences with this in their own families or even you. As we are experiencing the effects of these foods and these things that the people that raised us was giving us in their ignorance, and it sometimes can be frustrating and upsetting, but I want to encourage you for you to know it was not to break you. Every weapon formed against us strengthens us, aligns us, and it sets a fire inside of us so strong that no matter what agendas they roll out, we always find a way to rise to the top of our experience, of our highest potential. Do not allow yourself to be dismayed by perceived shackles. They can put shackles on the body. They can try to put shackles on the mind, but they cannot put shackles on the spirit that is within us rising up. Your very heartbeat is the shamanic drum that was created prior to any of these agendas being rolled out against us to keep us moving forward. The very breath that is within your body, and it works automatically. You don't have to think about it to breathe, was placed inside of us for the very purpose of keeping us tethered to spirit, to source energy outside of the 3D existence. Doesn't matter what's going on with you. It does not define who you are. Repeat after me. I will not be defined by the trials and traumas of my bloodline. I will not be defined by the trials and the traumas of my bloodline. I will not be defined by the trials and the traumas of my bloodline. Our very existence is invoking powerful forces that cannot be contained by those who invoked them, because in their attempt to be superior, they did not realize that they were being used to empower the perceived inferior people on this planet. This is why the Roman Catholic Church is now asking, demanding, bring back our artifacts that were stolen from indigenous people all over the world. We need the museums to return our artifacts, because those artifacts for them hold these energies, because they don't have a direct connection from inside of their cells, but you do. They can keep the artifacts. The only fact that matters is that we are the power necessary for a paradigm shift. We are harnessing wisdom that has evaded the generations before us just by being. You don't have to do anything. Just by being, every part of your being is powerful and healing. They thought that I would be broken by dizziness and vertigo. They thought that I would be broken by endless days of vomiting and nausea. They thought that I would be broken by surgery after surgery. They thought that I would be broken after organ failure. And even still, no matter what is happening to my physical body, I transcend the trauma and I bring forth the treasure from the trauma, because I am delving deep into the shadows of the abyss to bring forth the light that they cannot attain, because only those pure of heart can reach into these dimensions of consciousness. So for those of you who maybe struggle with the breathing practices and you are exhausted before you can complete something, and you're kind of feeling like you're lesser than, and you're not. You don't have to do anything. Your breath is already pre-programmed with the source codes necessary to help you transcend trauma. For those of you who body physically is not allowing you to do certain things and you're exhausted because we were not created to exist in this soup of non-ionized skies and radiation and heavy metals, and the list goes on and on. It's okay. You might be exhausted, but you're not dead. Just by existing. Just by finding a way to connect with your life force, to connect with what is called the sacral chakra, which is the vortex of the life force energy, the creative energy. The sacral chakra ultimately is so important in innovation. So when this happened to me, 10 days after the Lioness Gate portal, I chose to not allow any perceived shackle placed upon me to stop me from being who I am here to be. And by me approaching this obstacle with this mindset, I gave birth to something called gangster gratitude. Gangster gratitude is unconditional. I don't need my finances, my health, my relationships, and my life to look like the so-called gurus and influencers and other people who can meditate until they levitate, who can breathe perfectly, and they seem to have no problems of issues, and they got all of the answers. I don't need none of that to be grateful. I got breath in my body, and I am grateful for this breath, and I shall focus on what I can control. We transcend our traumas when our gratitude becomes gangster, where it show up straight gangster, where I will not be broken. I will not give thanks because of something showing up in my 3D reality. This shit is over. This is a simulation. And I shall delve into the simulation and bring forth source codes for liberation of the souls of those who are awakening that resonate with this message. For the entertainment industry, oh, how smart they thought they were. We're going to use the entertainment industry to program them as children before they can even create their own beliefs. We're going to create patterns and conditionings that way. We're going to have hip-hop weaponized so that the masculine has no idea how to be in harmonious connection with the feminine anymore. Oh, ha, ha, ha. We're so superior. Oh, no. Oh, no. They thought they had the power, but the power lies within any soul who is bold enough to dive into the darkness and bring out the light. So for those of you masculines who are noticing how toxic some of your patterns and conditionings and beliefs and ways of being with the feminine is, just know that that weapon is not prospering. It's not breaking you. Giving gratitude in the way this gangster is being able to look at something that was meant to destroy you and innovate it. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's deal with the fact that female MCs, rappers, are getting so many contracts. And if you just follow the line back to who own these contracts, you will see that they are using the high priestesses of the planet to communicate a message that is going to enslave so many people in future generations, because they know the power of someone with indigenous codes within their body, because they told us that all of the things that gave us power to kick their ass was evil. So we're so afraid of that on a subconscious, unconscious level. But while they're avoiding what gives them true power, we're using their power for our agenda. That's why so many female rappers now, you can't even keep up count. The power of these women realizing that they are natural-born high priestesses, natural-born healers and shamans, capable of putting people in a trance and using that to heal our families, our patterns, our conditions, the way we coexist with one another. Once they awaken to that, oh boy, we definitely can fuck up some shit that was meant to break us. And in just in case all of those things missed you, for those who went to get associate degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's, PhDs, that's beautiful and it's great. I see beauty in everything. But those were also programs created to create shackles on the higher potential of the people who went through those years of initiation into belief systems created to keep us bound to the planet, forced to reincarcerate over and over again with no knowledge of past lives and with the inability to access our true power, which exists outside of any 3 letters that they could add to our names. And they set the system up where the people who are able to add this to their names gain more respect than the people who cannot. The system was never created to support us. It was created to suppress us. But like phoenix from the ashes, we are rising. Most women who go through some of these higher educational schools have a difficult time attracting someone to grow with in a romantic relationship. That's not by coincidence. That's socially engineered. But does this mean that they have power over us? Absolutely not. This was allowed. Because in that loneliness, in that time of having these 3 letters and access to more currency, they began to notice what they are deficient and missing. We were not created to be alone. And that doesn't mean that everyone was created to exist in monogamous relationships either. But we are mammals. We are a tribal people. We thrive in tribes. We come broken down to the bones when we walk alone. So I want you to open your heart to finally receive what the ancestors, the ascended master, these energies that we call deities, to receive the medicine that they are giving us right now. So many of us live in fight or flight. So many of us have this constant feeling of not being able to truly relax and feel safe. For black and brown women on the planet, just walking outside with a certain outfit on could be something to lure a predator, and you be blamed because of what you were wearing. It's the energy, baby. The energy is magnetic and attractive. It's beyond what we wear. Yet they have made it seem as if the clothes, something that they create, make and market to make sure that we are consumers of, is the dictator of how you are perceived. And it's so much deeper than that. Everything is energy. This is why many of us struggle with shyness and being embarrassed and afraid to be seen and to be heard, afraid to be in front of crowds of people, afraid to even voice how we really feel and our concerns, because most of our life we have been conditioned to not feel safe. For black and brown men on this planet, anytime you walk out of the door, you're walking into potential war. Depending on where you grew up, you saw war, you were a part of it for so long, and now your nervous system has been entrained in this war, and we're experiencing complex PTSD. And because of the galactic timeout that we were given, they called it lockdowns. They wanted to take the credit for it, but I'm telling you the truth here, and I'm giving you what nobody else wants to say. But the truth is, our souls have a contract, and we call to have this experience, to have time to truly concentrate on what really matters, to consecrate and pull ourselves away from what doesn't matter. It was a galactic time out for us to get these adjustments. And they are battling using the technology to keep us enslaved. And it seems like it's working right now. It might feel like it's working right now, but I am telling you that you have the power to create your own reality in the soup of 5G silent weapons for war. We will continue to share with you the truth and how to transcend the war on consciousness and connecting with our spiritual selves. For those of you who are ready to begin, start by having gangster gratitude for whatever is showing up in your life and whatever you've been through, because it was those initiations that brought you here. And because we no longer have these initiations as a tribe, it shows up in our relationships as divorces, as breakups, as dis-ease, as mental health issues, emotional issues, anxiety and depression. But it's an initiation. It's an opportunity for you to embrace yourself with love and compassion unconditionally. And in that place, you will find that once you have the experience and you embrace it and lean into the fear or whatever you are feeling, the anger, that you become a better version of you. The energy of NU is the energy of NU, which is the energy of rebirth. Naga means wisdom, serpentine wisdom specifically. So the new Naga Saga conference that we are having is a collective activation for the courageous souls who are ready to show up, to be seen, to return back to the tribal connection of oneness, to experience the law of one, to realize that real eyes see the lies. But to have the knowledge is only the first step. The second step is to embody the knowledge and to practice it. That is the wisdom in motion. And we will be coming together to do this, to create this grid, to connect our Merkabas, to connect our Ka, our soul's essence, to bring forth a new earth. Before I end, I want to remind you, if you ever forget who you are, if you ever become overwhelmed by what is happening, just remember who you are at the core of your being. Just as a baby, we were loved, we were primal, we screamed when we needed food, we were authentic, we were genuine, we were not afraid to express what we needed to express. That homeostasis, that oneness, we are recreating. And as we shift the baseline of our bloodlines in the ability and potentials that we can access to attune and realign, we are creating a new space and a new time. We hope to see you there, October 22nd, 2022. And we will also be bringing a well-respected elder just for you. Thank you. That no matter what me and Ernest experience or go through, we will always align with our soul's purpose of being here and share that journey with you.